Hello and welcome back to the Dennis Herrera Show. This is the second half. For those of you who are members, well, we already had an extra hour overtime earlier today while I was waiting for my wife to get off work. Some of you guys already shared some of the good news with me earlier today, and I'm glad that you guys were there for me. I appreciate it. Let me adjust this picture in here. I'm way too low. You probably can't see me through all those letters on the actual mobile device. What do we got here? Unicorn, how are you? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. I'm glad that you know that this is just, just for entertainment. I'm glad that you're getting it. You're getting it. That's what it's all about. We're supposed to be here to have fun. Okay, that's what it's all about. Let me see. I'm so picky. I'm so picky with my stuff sometimes. Hold on. I think you guys probably don't know the difference, but I do. I think that's a little bit right there. Okay. There you go. I think you guys probably don't even know what the hell I just did. But welcome back, Robert. You are the first one here, my friend. May God bless you. Jason, I accepted the friend request on Facebook. You know what? As a matter of fact, I just reminded myself. Let me go to the link. My friend, I didn't mean to. God bless. I didn't mean to click on it. I just want the link. Copy that. Let me put a link on my X account. And let me see. Plus. Let me post that on X. Remind me, every time that I do a live, remind me to do that, please. We need to start promoting these pages. Let me get to my homepage here on Facebook. What's on my mind? Live. There we go. I got to keep putting these up there. We need to start doing it, okay? Fantastic. I see that thumbs up there, Jason. Looking sharp, brother. One handsome mouthful. Ah, man, I love it. I'm so happy that I got new family with you guys. Very exciting times. Now, guys, we're going to go ahead and listen to the remarks from President Trump, and then we can go ahead and jump into our video. Let's see. Robert, Jason have arrived. Craig, Miss, how are you? If we only had one more money, less debt, who do we owe anyway? I wish they'd tell us. What? If we only had more money, less debt, who do we owe anyway? I wish they'd tell us. Okay, I think that kind of makes sense. Don Mitch. Don Mitch. I think I've seen Don Mitch before here. Maybe one of the old first timers that came through here. Um, Unicorn, behave, okay? Behave. I want you to hang out with us. Palestine will be free. Actually, the Palestinians are free in Israel. Good news, my friend. A lot of those people are now free. Got me a Pepsi Zero, says TWC. Let's go, baby. Mikey Miquiteo. Sí, señor. Billy Bob, look me up on Facebook. If you have a Facebook, look me under Dennis Herrera. There's two. One of them has Trump that says acquitted on it. For some reason, I don't know how the hell that happened, but the one that you want to look, it's actually Trump on the Resolute desk. Black and white picture, Mindspeak. Good to see you again, brother. Happy Friday. I'm sure you have already started the Friday night. I'm glad you're here, brother. Brian. Yeah, right, Don Mitch? Yeah, welcome back. What's up? That's for Brian only. My man in the house. Man, love to have these guys here, man. You guys are the first veterans and real patriots that welcome me as you came into my channel, and I appreciate you. Runs, how are you, man? Good evening. I hope you're having a good day so far. Let's get this party started. I recommend, guys, if you guys are not on our side for some reason, right? I recommend when you put comments on the chat, give me something that we can talk about. Jason, hold your horses. Robert, 50% grace today, okay? Don't just block people, go crazy, gun-ho crazy here. Make sure that you just let people know what's up. Mark them with their special mark of the beast. There you go, that one. That way, once you mark somebody with that, they should know. They should know that the code "Release the Kraken" is coming, okay? Now, there was a guy, what was his name? Robert, you remember? Brian, you remember? Man, remember the guy? Was his name Chris something? Remember what was the code name for him? Was "Release the Crackhead." And then Chris is like BCJ. Who knows? Maybe it's the same guy. But Chris is like BCJ. It's just this crazy older black man. It's just crazy. Lots of energy, but man, he was a jerk on the chat. Nonetheless, I think we all enjoyed him talking mess. Billy Bob, man, good to see you, brother. I appreciate it. Let me see. I got a message from Jason. I only got a couple of friends in here, guys. I want Eric Lundberg. Let me add as a friend. Maybe he'll add me. Eric Lundberg, he knows a lot about politics, and I hope that we become friends with Eric Lundberg. The guy is very smart, big guy. I'm so very proud of him. It sounds like a man of good character. You know what I'm saying? So there is that. Don't forget to send me that friend request on Facebook if you haven't done so yet. So Jason, you found me very quick, right? So that means that I'm public, is what I'm thinking. I'm not sure what you guys can see on my profile, but I don't have any pictures of family on there. I want it to be very personal, just me. And let's start building up the page. I will elaborate more on the biography now that I'm getting closer to the time to put my name on the ballot. I think we're going to start pushing towards that. I don't know. I don't think there's any rules, right, for me to use Facebook and just say running for governor or whatever. We'll see. We'll see. One thing that I want you to what I want people to understand is I don't care if you're Democrat. I don't care if you're Republican. What I want you to focus on is, okay, what policies does Dennis have? What are you trying to do for us? Now, everything the governor can do to help the people, I will do. But just keep in mind, there is a lot of things I cannot change. This can only be possible through Congress, through legislation, and our Senate. Our representatives have to be the ones that fight for it. All I can promise you is that I will fight to get us. I don't even, Alamo, I don't even want, if you're in Washington, only if you're in Washington, okay, only if you're in Washington State. I don't even want you to even say anything about Trump. I want you to judge me for me, okay? Because I don't have anything on my life like Trump. If anything, I have a lot of failures that I have conquered in my life. And so that will be the first thing to think about, okay? A snake oil salesman, says Alamo. I don't think Alamo wants to be our friend. I don't think he wants to be in our chat. Corrupt? I'm corrupt? Oh, my goodness. You see this, Ron? You see this, Ron? This is what I have to deal with, man. It's an everyday thing. Oh, charlatan. Okay, sure. Salud, my friend. You can't see that, but it says Dennis Herrera Show. Oh, Ron. Oh, I remember the Alamo. He's about to get the mark of the beast. He's about to get marked. All right. So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much, Jason. Thank you for subscribing to my Facebook page. Little by little, I'll be able to start doing some changes on here. Welcome to Happy New Year 2026. Let me change my background on that. I think I can do it. Let's take a look. Let's put this one on, see if it fits. I'm going to change here to a Seattle view from a distance, but it's Seattle. There we go. Looks beautiful. Okay. Save changes. There we go. Seattle. Let's see. Join Facebook August 26, 2025. That's about the time that I started doing this live constantly. Okay. So I'll add a story later. Everything looks good there. We got my live on the X account. We are good. Let's see if we get any traffic through X. We'll see. And I got one view already. Hopefully that one view brings them to this live right here where they can chat and give me their comments. Let's take a look. Jeremy, welcome, Jeremy. Let's see. Remember the Alamo. Robert, here's your coffee for you, Bobby. One Alamo that won't be remembered. Man says he doesn't want to be friends. Okay, copy that. Craig Miss says, you're always talking about national policy. You don't seem to ever address the sanctuary blue state. I do all the time. But you have there in Washington being governor won't change that, sir. Yeah. So here's the thing. So the ones that make the law, obviously, is the legislature, okay? Is the legislature. I'll be part of the executive, okay? Now, I know we have the minority in Republicans, conservatives, that you know, it's on the Senate and it's the minority in Congress. That's fine. I want to encourage people to run for these positions. Let's overtake these blue people. If they don't want to do their job, I don't care if they're blue. If they don't want to do their job, I will mark them for you, okay? And I want people to step up, man. We need Republicans to run for Congress. We need Republicans to run for Senate. And so far, only activists are applying for these positions. And, you know, I hope that God gives me word to convince Democrats and Republicans and everybody here in Washington. I won't be able to please everybody. That's a fact, okay? But I hope that I believe in that God will give me a word to try to encourage everybody to come together for the better of the state, They're making so many mistakes right now that there's so many mistakes for the picking. You know, I'm going to try not to get so personal as I do get on my show with them. Once I'm running the campaign, I don't want animosity, but I think at some point I'm going to have to just go off on them if they don't want to start behaving, right? That's just what I feel about that. But we'll see when the time comes. So yeah, I don't want sanctuary city here. It is unconstitutional. It goes against the United States of America's Constitution, and that Constitution overrides the Constitution of Washington State. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate that. We have a couple of battles. We got battles with people that don't like the conservative view. They don't like the Christian view. I get that. A lot of them, as I talk to my members in private, I guess, they just want to dox the channels that are speaking the truth, and it's very interesting. They are sending all of the views to those who have leftist views, and of course, not everybody's good. There's some guys that are very good leftists. Like they're so negative, they're lying, but they're very good. And so we need to counter that. And, the way that we do that is by hitting that like button. Throw those hearts out there. Throw those hundreds, as you saw there on the live feed. And there's that, All right, Zinc Roofer, thanks for visiting, bro. I think that from now on, I don't think you want to be on my channel. I don't think you ever want to have a conversation with me. So listen, no hard feelings. I don't know when, if I will ever let you come back on my channel. But for now, have a good night. And you're not going to be able to come back to my channel. That maybe someday in the future. We'll see. So anybody, if you're a left, I don't care. It's fine. If you're gay, you're welcome. Absolutely. Now, the only thing is, obviously, I can't support your being homosexual. That's something different. But do you have rights? Absolutely. Just like everybody else. Okay? Jeremy, how are you, man? Good to see you on here. Hopefully you are going to behave. Let's see. What else do we got in here? David. Oh, David's here. David Barb. I understand. I completely agree. Jeremy, sorry, I'm a Democrat. Proves that we can. Jeremy, don't be sorry for being a Democrat. As a matter of fact, honestly, so am I. But our party left me a long time ago. I still support the same policies. I know you don't have to like Trump, but I still support the same policies. I haven't switched parties. I'm still the American party. And I still support the same policies. So, there's that. All right, I'm probably going to miss some of your comments in here, but I appreciate you guys being here. Billy Bob still leering. Hey, Janice, how are you? Good to see you on here. All right, Agus, good evening, sir. All right, let's go ahead. I know that if you guys don't like Trump, it is what it is, my friends. That is exactly what we're going to listen to for how long? It's going to be a little bit over an hour. Now, I already saw it, but I'm streaming it for those who haven't seen it yet. Agus says, I'm a constitutionalist. I got no time for wings of a beast. Gotcha. Fantastic. What's crazy is that even for those who support the Constitution, and I get a lot of people like this, but only on the Democratic side, which is weird, right? It's weird. But what's crazy is that for some reason, think about this. Every time that I talk to a conservative or a Republican, right? And I talk about the Constitution, and I always say the Constitution is for the United States of America, for we the people. And I always clarify, who is we the people? The American people, right? Just want to put my 2 cents in there. Okay, so a lot of people that interpret the Constitution, when they say persons, they automatically forget who the Constitution is addressing. And who is addressing is all the people. Persons is the same as people. But the Constitution is for the American people, not for illegals, not for foreigners, not for them. And there is two key crucial points that those who interpret the Constitution incorrectly make the same mistake. And that is this, and they always miss this. It talks about diplomats not able to have citizen Americans, even though they are born in this land. Sons of diplomats do not get citizenship, as I believe that illegal immigrants don't follow under the jurisdiction of the United States of America. Only some, which is for criminal, what is the word? Reprobación. What's the word in English? Correction? Criminal correction? That's it. But they're not obligated. They don't. There's no oath. They're not mandated. They're not mandated to stay here. Now, those who are resident aliens, they are permanent domiciles, right? And so, yes, sir. And there are permanent domiciles, which means that they are permanent. They are on the full jurisdiction of the United States government. So those people, their children, even though they're not citizens, those children will be American citizens. Now, here's the catch, right? So it specifies that diplomats cannot have American children, even if they're born here. Okay, and then you will argue the point that when it says a specification that only a American born in this country can be a candidate for presidency, they say that if it was the same thing for persons, that it would have said Americans. But that's not what it necessarily has to say. Persons is plural for person. And back in those days, people and persons is the same meaning. Now, why does it specify that those who are not under the jurisdiction, like diplomats or illegal immigrants, they don't get their children to be American citizens? Because when it says that you have to be born here, American born here, to be able to run for president, it has to say that, because there is other American citizens. Who are those? Can you tell me? Now, you're a constitutional, whatever you said. You're a constitutional guy. Tell me, what kind of citizenships do we have in this country? MindSpeak, thanks for being the first super. Let's get this Friday going. Good evening, everyone. Let's be happy. We made it to Friday. Jason Martin, be happy, brother. Peace, 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 and some beer. All right, for the constitutional guy. Only for the constitutional guy. Agus, or Agus, right? Agus. So how many citizenship? What kind of citizenships do we have? It's like asking like a gender question. How many genders are there? Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And the second one, obviously, right? Naturalization. So in the Constitution, it has to specify, according to the birthright Americans, natural born and naturalized, I cannot run for president because I wasn't born here. You see what I'm saying? So the Constitution has to clarify that I had to be naturally born here. So there's my proof that when it talks about persons, it doesn't mean illegal immigrants or anybody else. Because the Constitution was not made for just persons. It was made for American citizens. And it's not going to continue to say American citizens because they're people. We, the people of the United States of America. That's how it starts. You know what? Let's start the evening with that. I know I'm horrible. I don't know. I don't have it memorized. But let's go ahead and look into the we the people. Let's see the whole line here. And if it would have said we the persons, it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. So it has to say we the people, and that's how it is. In order to form, listen to this, we the people of the United States of America, it says, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice. Who's we the people? The American people, right? Okay. Ensure domestic tranquility. Provide for the common defense. Promote the general welfare. And secure the blessings of liberty to who? Ourselves. Isn't that interesting? To ourselves and our posterity. You notice how he didn't say to the people's posterity? It didn't say to secure everybody's blessing. No. It says specifically ourselves. We do ordain and establish this Constitution. For who? For the United States of America. That good? Yeah, it has been misinterpreted for over 100 years. It will be illogical for a constitution to allow our enemies to infiltrate our country and build cells to later attack us. It is a national security problem. Okay? Let's see. Every acronym in my handle is a military program or NSA program. I got you. Okay. Sure. Which is the military acronym for the camera system that they deployed during the right. I don't know where you came with that. I'm missing your comments over here. Yeah. So add subject to the jurisdiction thereof, meaning that their home country of origin. The illegal immigrants, this is not their home country. Right? So if I go to Mexico, I'm going to respect their law. But I'm not under their jurisdiction. They can still punish me. They can take me to court. They can put me in prison. Probably kill me. And they should get in trouble with the United States of America. Because that technically means that I am a son of the United States of America. So they should have a problem with Mexico if they kill me in court or whatever. I find that very interesting right there. The jurisdiction thereof, meaning of their home country. I like that. That is exactly what I'm saying. I don't know who wrote the preamble, to be honest. I really don't. But, when it comes to the whole declaration, I mean, I have the extended, the study version, and there is nothing that I interpret from the Declaration of Independence that tells me that illegals have the right to be here. The word persons, that doesn't mean anything. That just means people. And the Constitution is not talking about just everybody. It's talking about to Americans. Let's see. The preamble of the United States Constitution, beginning with the words, we the people, as a brief introductory statement of the Constitution's fundamental purposes as a guiding principles. Courts have referred to it as a reliable evidence of the Founding Fathers' intentions regarding the Constitution's meaning and what they hoped the Constitution would achieve. And one of the things that I hope the Constitution achieves is a form of national security. It has to protect the interest of our people, of ourselves. That's the whole introduction right there. The preamble was mainly written by Gouverneur Morris, a Pennsylvania delegate to the 1787 Constitutional Convention held at Independence Hall in Philadelphia. I love that. I really love that. It's so plain and clear, right? Yeah. Thank you, Jason. You're with it. You're with it. The preamble was placed in the Constitution during the last days of the Constitutional Convention by the Committee on Style, which wrote its final draft with Governor Morris leading the effort. It was not proposed or discussed on the floor of the convention beforehand. The initial wording of the preamble did not refer to the people of the United States. Rather, it referred to the people of various states, which was the norm. You see how that changed? They had to be more specific. In earlier documents, including the 1778 Treaty of Alliance with France, the Articles of Confederation, and the 1783 Treaty of Paris, recognizing American independence, the word people was not used. Oh my God, I love it when I'm right. And the phrase, the United States, was followed immediately by a listing of the states from north to south. The change was made out of necessity, as the Constitution provided that whenever the popularity elected ratifying conventions of 9 states gave their approval, it would go into effect for those 9, irrespective of whether any of the remaining states were ratified. You know what? I like that. But did you see what I'm saying? So it was in some point the issue that they didn't use the word people. They used the word persons. You know why it's easy for me to translate that or to understand that? Because that is a Latin word. Persons is personas, and that means people. We have another word, but it's not people. We have gente. Gente is just other people. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I stand with what I believe. I believe the Constitution of the United States of America has been misinterpreted for ignorance in the judicial courts, the laws, and all this Cambridge and all this whatever high scholars of the world and the philosophy. They don't have shit. They all misinterpret this. Doesn't matter who read it. I think that they should have let a real American patriot rewrite the Constitution before they made it public. But anywho, my point stands. Persons means people. When they need to verify if it's more than an American person, they have to say naturally born or naturalized in order to be president, etc., etc., etc. That's something that I will talk about somebody in law. I'm going to talk about to my attorney general, and then we'll see what we can do about it, and maybe something can be amended. Now, it's not something that we can be doing statewide. This is the Constitution of the United States of America, not the Washington State Constitution, which is what I will abide by. Facts. Yeah. It would be stupid, right? Who thought? Oh, you know what? Let's let Chinese come here illegally. They hate us. Let them come here illegally and pop a bunch of babies. And since they can't infiltrate with adults and guns, why don't we make them citizens? The American people are so kind. They allow American citizens the right to bear arms. They can get weapons. As long as they are raised loving us, let them be Americans. Think about it. Easiest way for me to destroy the United States of America is to make a bunch of children here with a bunch of different women. They're all going to be American citizens. Oh, I'm going to be a great daddy, and I'm going to pay attention to them, and I'm going to go ahead and instruct them, and I'm going to educate them and indoctrinate and do whatever I need to do to tell them how special Honduras is. And when the time is right, I'm going to turn them against the government. That would be the stupidest thing. But if I'm a resident permanent domicile, that means that I love the United States, and I'm making a commitment to stay under the jurisdiction of the country of the United States of America. Personal domicile means permanent residency. Wonderbread, ask the question. What is the question? Game Genius says, God bless the American people and the whole world of Yahweh. Amen. American English. Yes, I don't speak England English. I speak American English, which, by the way, everybody that speaks American English has an accent, just in case you didn't know. Even the Chicana, right, the Mexican girl that called earlier, she didn't know she had an accent. I don't have an accent. That was funny. That was funny. But go ahead. Go ahead. What's the question, man? Ask the question. Swarp, yeah, yeah. The Russians, sure, yeah. I mean, any country, brother. I'm sorry. China is the one that first comes to mind, but yes, any country. I did mention Honduras, which is my flag back here from Honduras. What is it? Paul Salsi, what's going on? When I die, he says, when I die, don't let me vote for a Democrat. Oh, man, that's funny, bro. I don't know why I said it that way, but that's the way that I read it, okay? Amendment means add. Yes, we added. That is amending. Correct. Manuel Correa, what's up? Finally, man, this guy finally says hi before he starts criticizing me horribly. Some dude, what's popping? America first, baby. So how many of you like that translation from the United States of America Constitution? You guys like that version? Does that version say all illegal immigrants have the rights of the American people? I don't think so. You know, sometimes I wonder if people just play dumb so they can get away with whatever they want to do. I just wonder. Welcome, WWW. No, it doesn't say all people. It says we, the people. Did you miss the reading? Hold on. Let me read it again. We, the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves. Ourselves, not everybody's, ourselves. And it was adapted on the Constitution. And there it is. In our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Again, ourselves, not everybody's. Does that make sense? That's right, David. We were making sure that it was for ourselves. We don't want Trojan horses over here. That's not what we want. I don't like what the Constitution says, so I'll interpret it how I want. Warped. Go ahead and tell me what it says. You can look it up and then correct me. It's plain English. Wonder Bread. Don't be cheap. Put a super chat. Unless you're a kid and you don't have money. Ask your mommy if you can use her debit card to pay $1 to make a standout so I can read it. I'm not here to babysit your comments. You see how I respond to others? Because I'm reading their comment. But if I miss it, I'm not going to reply to them. Let's see. It's not different than what you idiots do to the Bible. Interesting. Hey, I like this. I don't need to look it up. The Supreme Court already did. And what I just said is they have been misinterpreting the Constitution. Again, just because you're in the Supreme Court, I'm sorry to bust your bubble, it doesn't mean that these people are wise and smart. If they don't think like the justice it's supposed to, which is blind, they pick a side. They're activist judges. Activist judges are in the Supreme Court. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. It is what it is. All right. Let's see. For what? It's not for white people either. We've established a long time ago. An amendment said that it was also for slaves who are now free men are also considered American citizens, and their descendants will be American citizens. It still didn't add illegal immigrants. Wonderbird says, I'm making a habit to not pay grifters to answer in bad faith. This guy. So, one, you insult me. Two, you're a cheap ass. And three, you don't even support me. What the hell are you here for? I don't know, man, this guy. Rush Babe, there you are, Suzona. ¿Qué pasa, Mufasa? This guy, bro. It's not racist. It's not racist. That was corrected. It's not anymore. This is why you need to learn history and accept it. Stop being resentful. It is not good to be resentful. All right. You guys don't have any good questions. Take it easy, cowboy. Take it easy, David. Have some patience. Jason and Robert already know what to do. And I think Man is still here. If Man is here, Brian, if you want it, when you hear the code word, release the Kraken, you will have access to decapitate every liptard in the chat. Swarp says, learn history, ignores history when he doesn't like it. What is there to like? It's very clear. They didn't use the word people back then. They used persons. That's how they described the Constitution. That's how they did it. But don't play stupid. You know persons means people. And I want you to tell me why it says ourselves. You like that? Ourselves. I love the Constitution. There's nothing that I hate about the Constitution. I love the whole Constitution. But I think you're reflecting. I think you don't like what the Constitution says, and you interpret it the way you want to. But see, something that tells me national security, the posterity, and the welfare, the liberty, the blessings of ourselves. See, before I was an American citizen, it was to Americans. I couldn't include myself until I made an oath and was granted citizenship. Then I proudly read it, ourself. Yes. Yes. And all my children were made when I was a permanent resident alien. Oh, yeah. Dubsack, thank you. Only the people that are ignorant will never see it that way. But that's okay. One day, we will actually have patriots in the Supreme Court, and they will change that. And I hope to be able to influence legislature so that they can amend it. It needs to be amended right. It was for American only. And so we have so many woke judges, lawyers, politicians, etc. So now we got to dumb it down. Now we have to write it like if it was made for children. And we have to specify and teach them that persons is talking about American citizens. The first answer is, who is we, the people? Everybody knows. Everybody agrees. The answer is American citizens. We, the people, are those under the full jurisdiction of the United States of America. Illegal immigrants don't have that. Now, I will say this. If the mother was illegal, okay, and the father was American, even if that son was born in Mexico or in the United States of America, that son would be an American citizen. Whoa. That's a new one, dude. Whoa. That's new. Did that make sense? Do I have to say that one again? Do you want me to say it again? Do you want me to say it again? If the mother was illegal and the father was an American citizen, whether that baby was born in Mexico or in the United States of America, that child will be an American citizen. Why do you think that is? Our constitutional aegis said it. He said it on the chat before, earlier when we first started. And he's right. He will be under the jurisdiction of the citizen, which is the father. Therefore, he is an actual American. Anywho, if he is born in Mexico, though, he can't run for president. That's the only rule. But if he's born in America, he would be. Okay? So, for example, if he is an American citizen because the father is an American citizen, even if he was born in Honduras, right? I was born in Honduras, but we're both. That son of the citizen is just as Honduran as I am. But through some paperwork, proven paternity test, he can be considered a citizen, and I will still be just a Honduran migrant coming to this country. Now, when I became an American citizen, okay, every child that I make in this country or out of the country or whatever it was, because I am a naturalized American citizen, which gives me the full right to be an American citizen, pending paternity test, of course, there's paperwork, every single one of my children, no matter what country they're born, they will all be American. But if they are not born in this country, they will not be able to run for president. Does that make sense? Yeah. The voting rights is not the same as citizenship. It's not the same. But when it comes to the nationality, sure. But remember that it talks about the father's nationality, not the mother's. And I think it's wrong. I think either parent should have that right, especially now that women can vote. They also are, we the people. It's very obvious. See, before in the times, it's like a trinity. The husband is the head of the house. While they are under the head of the house, the woman and the kids have the rights. I don't want to confuse your little brains with too much information. Right on 7, welcome, sirree. Welcome. All right, let's go ahead and get to the video. This is how we get rid of all the libtards that don't want to have a conversation with us. Hey, Agus, thank you for your participation. I think your comments are valid. I don't hate the Constitution. I want you to know that. I love the Constitution, but I really, really want to make sure that now that I am an American citizen, that I actually, even with my heavy accent, that I still look for the well-being of all American citizens, born here or abroad. All Americans to me are the same. And all illegals to me are still illegal and have no rights, except for some human rights, but no legal rights. Let's get that cleared.
It's my great honor, on behalf of the FIA Institute, to welcome back a leader who continues to shape the global economic and political landscape. For the second consecutive year at FII Miami, we are privileged to host the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget.
That's actually a good question, but you can't fix illegal immigration that way. I think whatever has been happening, even till this date, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. It would be impossible to go back and see how many people are going to lose their citizenship because they are anchor babies that were born to illegal immigrants. But I think that there is a way, there is a process. If children, even if you're 80 years old, if children of illegal immigrants want to stay here, okay, they have to make that oath again. And if that oath, well, not again because they never made it, but they will have to make the oath like a naturalized American citizen, and they have to make the oath to the United States of America. They can no longer call themselves Mexicans, Hondurans. They cannot, because they were born here anyway, right? So what I would look for is loyalty to the United States of America, and to me, that is priority. Now, that's just me. That is priority. Token, what the hell? Okay, Swarp. Go to the corner and think about what you did wrong. Don't come back until you learn your lesson. Don't spam on my chat. It's annoying. Unless you're spamming Trump. Oh, you got another one. Let's see. How to stop illegal immigration. Stop all immigration filings here in the USA. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, sure. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. But also, on the same effort, I think they need to stop bullshitting. DACA holders, TPS holders, if they have proven themselves to be good material to be citizens of this country, they should just be granted a green card. The problem is those who have joined in protesting activities that had to do with impeding justice, impeding law enforcement, that includes ICE, should be deported. Go protest in your country of birth. That's what I feel. But everybody else, let them get a chance to a green card and prove themselves for 5 years. And let's see if they stay out of crime. They don't commit any crime, then I think they're on the way to become citizens. Why not? Don't worry about those. Those who I put in the corner, they're just in the corner in timeout. But if they come back with the same thing, I will release the Kraken.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A lot of rich people in this audience. I'm looking left, right, center, all the way in the back. They're rich too. But I'm thrilled to be back with so many friends and partners, leaders and innovators here at the Future Investment Initiative. And it's a really great group of people, very smart group of people. They know what's happening in the world. It's It's my second address to the conference as President of the United States, and it's my honor to be here. Thank you very much. As you know, we're gathered at a moment of bold action and historic decision to make America and our allies safer and stronger, more prosperous, more successful than ever before. That's what's happening. Tonight, we're closer than ever to the rise of the Middle East that is finally free at last from Iranian terror, aggression, and nuclear blackmail. That's what's happened. It was nuclear blackmail for years and years. And beyond that, there was blackmail, period. Under my leadership, America is ending the threat posed by this radical regime, decimating Iran's capabilities with Operation Epic Fury, something that nobody's ever seen anything quite like it. We have the most powerful military in the world by far. I built it in my first term. Remember, I said $1 trillion. They all said, what do you mean $1 trillion? $1 trillion. Every year, another trillion the next, another trillion. We have the best people. We have by far the best equipment. We have weapons that nobody's ever seen before. We have weapons that nobody even knows about, except for a few of us. For 47 years, Iran has been known as the bully of the Middle East, but they are not the bully any longer. They're on the run. Last June, America's armed forces obliterated Iran's key nuclear facilities in one of the most spectacular military actions of all time. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. In the dead of night, no moon, 1 o'clock in the morning, we went in. It was called Operation Midnight Hammer. And every single one of those bombs hit their mark. Air shafts. They will never build an air shaft again, I promise you that. They went right down that granite mountain through air shafts. Most incredible technology you've ever seen, that a thing like that. And it was decimation, it was obliteration. One of the networks said, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. It was that bad. Turned out to be even more than we thought. But after that attack, the Iranian lunatics refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons. And I have to say, before that, Barack Hussein Obama, did you ever hear of him? Barack Hussein Obama, he had the Iran nuclear deal. He went to Iran. He paid him. Remember, he sent two Boeing 757 jetliners. They took the seats out and they piled it with cash, like 1.7 billion of cash. That's when I realized the president is very powerful. The presidency is a very powerful thing. When you can do that, I haven't done that yet. I haven't found a reason to do that yet, but that's big. 1.7 billion in cash. You know, there wasn't a bank in DC, Virginia, or Maryland that had any money after that disaster. But they sent the cash to Iran, but more importantly, they signed an agreement, the Iran nuclear deal, which if I didn't terminate it in my first term, I terminated it almost immediately. If I didn't terminate it, they would have had a nuclear weapon long ago, and they would have used it on the Middle East, Israel, and the Middle East. And you know the Middle East because when you look at all the missiles that got fired, UAE had 1,500 missiles shot at it. They didn't think they were going to have any. Saudi Arabia didn't expect to have, I mean, we have the most powerful Saudis. Oh, yes, sir, you are so powerful. But yes, sir, you didn't expect any missiles going to Saudi Arabia. They didn't expect them in Qatar. They didn't expect them in Kuwait, in Bahrain. The missiles rained down on you. They were going to hit you with nuclear or whatever they had. But we stopped it. We stopped it. We stopped it with him. And then there was a big moment also in my first administration when I took out Soleimani. And a lot of people think that might have been the biggest thing of all because he was a mad genius. He was a vicious, horrible human being, but he was a great general and a great leader, if you define a leader in a certain way, very, very powerful leader. In fact, he was so powerful that I really think that the leadership of Iran was extremely happy when I took him out, but they don't say that, but nobody's going to be asking him anymore because they're not here either. But getting the termination and terminating the Iran nuclear deal that was done by Biden And Obama, I would say mostly Obama. Actually, I don't think Biden knew where he was then, too. He had no idea. If you said to him, the Iran nuclear, what's that? But there was 4 years of hell we had with this guy as our leader, I'll tell you. And then we hit him with the B-2 bomber, so we did it twice. But if they would have had a nuclear weapon, it would have been a whole big deal. And I wouldn't be here right now, and probably you guys wouldn't be too happy. You might be in an area, who knows where you would have been. But we did it twice. And I really believe we saved the Middle East. We saved not just Israel, we saved the Middle East. And it was proven by all those rockets that fired down upon you. Saudi Arabia got hit a lot. You all got hit, and nobody expected any missiles to be wasted. You would have thought they were only going at Israel. They weren't. As President of the United States, I would never allow the world's #1 state sponsor of terror to obtain a nuclear weapon. I said that for a long time. And I didn't. To defend America and our allies over the past 27 days, the U.S. Armed Forces, most powerful in the world, have been annihilating Iran's military capacity with force, precision, skill like the world has never seen. It was violence, actually, really violence. We're crushing Iran's currently, as we speak. I just looked. We had another big day. We hit them. They don't know what's happening. Remember this. They lied about 3 days ago. I said, yeah, we're negotiating with Israel. We are not negotiating. They're being hit so hard, anybody would be negotiating. They are negotiating. They're begging to make a deal. They're begging to make a deal. Turned out I was right. They were negotiating, which they admitted 2 days later. And in order to make up for their misstatement, they said, we're going to send you 8 ships of oil. And the following day I saw, this is 2 days ago, I saw on one of the networks, very strange, there were 8 ships of oil coming out of Iran. And then they actually said, we're going to add an extra 2. And they added an extra 2, so we had 10 ships. And then people realized we were actually negotiating. And we're negotiating now, and it'd be great if we could do something, but they have to open it up. They have to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Excuse me for this. I'm so sorry. Such a terrible mistake. The fake news will say, he accidentally said, no. There's no accidents with me, not too many. If there were, we'd have a major story. No, well, we had that with the Gulf of Mexico. Remember the Gulf of Mexico? And one day I said, why is it the Gulf of Mexico? We have 92% of the area around it. They have 8%, really less than 8%. But for 350 years, it was good. You know, they were there 100 years longer than us, Mexico. They're at 350, we're at 250. And I said, often asked myself, why do we call it the Gulf of Mexico? It seems like we dominate. Well, when I checked, it was more than 92%. So I announced, I wouldn't say Mexico was thrilled, but I announced that from now on, the Gulf of Mexico is going to be called the Gulf of America. And it took about 1 hour, and it was done. Everybody, the president called me. She's really a nice person, too. I like her a lot. She called up. She had the most beautiful voice. She's a very elegant woman, has a beautiful, beautiful voice. She goes, President, tell me, this is not so. No, it's so. Oh, it's so. And then Google Maps changed it. We won the court case in about 1 hour, and Google Maps changed the name. And it's now the Gulf of America, which it should be in all fairness. We're crushing Iran's weapons stockpiles, destroying their missiles and drone factories at levels nobody ever thought was possible, and turning their defense industrial base into nothing. Iran's navy is gone. It's all sunk at the bottom of the Gulf and elsewhere. Did you see the attack submarine that we have one after one of their boats? It was called the Soleimani. It was the pride of their fleet. But this attack submarine goes like 60 miles an hour. I'd never saw anything. And it caught them in about 2 minutes. And that was the end of the Soleimani. Now, then they're 100% dead. They have 22 mine droppers. They call them mine droppers. And the mine droppers, 22, all 22 are gone. So I guess they can drop mines, but they're going to have to take them out by a rowboat because they don't have any boats. Their Air Force is dead, totally, completely dead. It's out of business. No planes left at all. Their anti-aircraft and communications capabilities are totally dismantled and dead. And their leaders are all dead. Other than that, I think they're doing quite well. No, their leaders are dead. Their supreme leader is no longer supreme. He's dead. Son is either dead or in very bad shape because nobody's heard from him. I think he says, just keep me out of this. This is the only country where nobody wants to lead. There's nobody. Who would like to lead Iran? Please raise your hand, a big audience of distinguished. Who would like to be our leader? Dead silence. Nobody wants to lead. Now, we have an amazing military. We have the greatest intelligence apparatus that anybody's ever seen. We can tell you everything that's going on. We know everything that's going on. We're achieving each and every one of the military objectives I laid out less than 4 weeks ago. And we're doing it really, I guess we're 2 weeks ahead of schedule. We're not into it very long. We wouldn't have thought we would have been. We knew it was going to be easy. We call it a military operation. We don't call it a war. We call it a military operation. We're very disappointed, by the way, with NATO. They didn't come to our aid. I didn't try too hard, actually, because I wanted to prove a point. I didn't sell. They probably think I'm a lousy salesman. I said, would you like to help us? To President of France, Macron, nice guy. He is a nice guy. I said, Emmanuel, would you like to help? Yes. As soon as the war is over, we will send ships. I said, no. I don't want them when the war is over. I want them before we start. And UK, our longest ally, nobody ever thought this was possible. I said to the Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, we'd like you have 2 aircraft carriers. They're little ones. They're not very good. I know they don't go fast, and I know they don't work very well, but we could probably use them maybe for helicopters. And they said, yes, we are preparing them. I said, when will they be ready? Maybe in a month or 2. Oh, great, that's wonderful. I said, are you going to help us? Yes, we're going to help you. When the war is finished, we will be there. This is NATO. And I've always said NATO's a paper tiger. And I've always said we help NATO, but they'll never help us. And if the big one ever happened, and I don't think it will, but if the big one ever happened, I guarantee you they wouldn't be there. And we learned from that. And remember what I said, because they made a big mistake. They were not there. The Chancellor of Germany, these are all friends of mine, Friedrich, the Chancellor of Germany, he said, this is not our war. We have nothing to do. Well, Ukraine's not our war, but we helped them. I wouldn't have had to help. If I were president, that war would have never happened. But we had a man of a very low IQ as president, and he had no idea what the hell it was. I was listening to him talk. I said, he's forcing an issue that's going to be trouble, and it turned out to be trouble. Last week, 28,000 soldiers died. The week before that, 32,000 soldiers died. I think we're going to get it settled, but it's a terrible thing. Worse since World War II. I settled 8 wars, and this should have been one of the easier ones, but the hatred between President Putin and President Zelensky is extreme. Never good. Hatred's a bad thing when you're trying to settle a war. I want to thank the entire kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Been very helpful, unlike NATO. Saudi Arabia fought, Qatar fought, UAE fought, Bahrain fought, and Kuwait fought, even though they shot down 3 of our planes with the finest missiles. We could have done without that. They didn't know they were our planes. They wasted 3 great Patriot missiles, and you have to say there's nothing like these Patriots. We had an attack of 101 a few days ago. 101 missiles shot at a very valuable thing that we had floating on the water, namely an aircraft carrier, biggest in the world. And they were shot, 101, going 2,500 miles an hour. And out of the 101 missiles shot, 101 missiles were shot down and spread out all over the sea. Pretty amazing. That's called incredible technology, right, Steve? That's called great tech. Now, think of it, 101 missiles going 2,500 miles an hour. You don't have a lot of time. And these aren't necessarily weightlifting shoulders. These are very smart people doing that. And I watched them. I watched their performance. Missiles launched, missiles launched. It's almost like they're bored by it. They have like 9 seconds ahead of FIFA, the most powerful man in sports. Johnny, you never choked, right? These guys can't choke, but they're very smart. High IQs. We need high IQs. We have too many low IQ people. But what happened is, you have to see it. It's very cool. Missiles launched, missiles launched, missiles launching. They're launching. Okay, we're ready. 101 missiles coming at them. All right, we have to have like 11 seconds to make a determination. Then at 7 seconds, fire, fire, fire. It's the most unbelievable thing. Fire, boom, fire, boom. One at a time, just knocked them out like they were nothing. Genius, it's like unbelievable. I mean, to think and we have the technology nobody has. Look at what happened in Venezuela. They had other equipment, not ours. They made the mistake of using other equipment. Didn't work too well. And Venezuela was, took 45 minutes. It was a 45-minute war. This one's bigger. This one's bigger. It's a bigger country, a lot more powerful. It's a lot more powerful, but it's not powerful anymore. Within 2 days, I think the damage was done, but now it's really done. Now we're just going after targets, and they have no anti-aircraft, so we're just floating over the top looking for whatever we want, and we're hitting it, and we have another 3,554 targets left. And that'll be done pretty quickly. And then at some point, we're going to have to determine what we do. But they've never seen anything like it. When we hit Venezuela, that's a very strong military country. They have soldiers. If you've ever been there, I've been there. They have a lot of soldiers walking around all over the place. Everyone's a soldier. Very military kind of a place. And there was a general, professional general, really good. And he said, we were all set for him. We knew there was a problem when we noticed at 1 o'clock in the morning, every 32 seconds, another airplane, a very fast plane, was coming off the deck of an aircraft carrier. That's actually the biggest aircraft carrier in the world. And every 32 seconds, boom, boom, boom. And it was 1 o'clock in the morning. So we said, okay, I think we're in trouble. But they were ready for us, Johnny. And we were ready. He said, we were ready. And then they hit us, and they came from 17 different angles. They were here, they were there. We ran for our lives. It was over. And it was over. And then we took this guy who was a very bad guy, and within literally minutes, he was in the back of a helicopter in a house that was in a big military base with thousands and thousands of soldiers. The house was all steel, with steel doors, steel everything. They had the small steel doors, the big storage. We were equipped for anything. Even the big one would have been opened within 30 seconds. They walked in with blow torches. And within minutes, he was out of the house, being thrown into the helicopter, sailing away, and the soldiers just looked. Bye, bye. Enjoy your trip, sir. It was amazing. It was but this is more amazing what's happening now, because we took a very strong country. I could see that, yes, sir, the problem you would have had. I mean, this was not a weak country. This was a strong country. They had over 10,000 missiles that they accumulated since October 2nd, if you think. Since the B-2s, really since the B-2s, they accumulated them in a matter of months, 6 months. But they had well over 10,000. They had rocket launchers. Rocket launchers are more important than the rockets. Because you take a rocket launcher out, that's the end of that. People think you can take those big rockets and throw them out your window, like when you were a child with the paper airplanes. You said, it doesn't work that way. You need those launchers, and we knocked out 97% of the launchers. That's why you may be attacked, but you're not being attacked with very heavy numbers of missiles like at the beginning. But in particular, I want to thank my friend, the Crown Prince Mohammed, who is a fantastic man and a great friend of mine, and a friend of all of yours, I think. And he's a warrior. He's a warrior. He was not afraid of this country that, frankly, he should have been afraid of because they're very powerful. I want to thank Tamim because Tamim is, these three people have been unbelievable. Tamim, and then UAE, Mohammed. These are three great people. And they were under tremendous attack, unexpected attack. And they weren't thinking this was going to happen. Nobody was. And they turned against them and really became very powerfully aligned. And they were with us, but they weren't with us very obliquely. They were with us. But I think that I have to acknowledge for their bravery because they were being hit pretty hard. All three of them, they were being hit pretty hard. The Emir, Mohammed, you had two Mohammeds and a Tamim, and they're friends of mine. And also I have to say that Bahrain and Kuwait, they were stand up, more so than NATO, I want to tell you, more so than NATO. Now, they're a little closer to the action than NATO in all fairness, but very disappointed with NATO. But I wasn't disappointed with our allies in the Middle East and others. And others. We had tremendous support from countries that were not in the general area, but they were tremendously supportive. I think Turkey was fantastic, actually fantastic, and they stayed out of things that we asked them to, and he's a great leader. He's a great leader. And Indonesia was great. We had so many great, you learn who your friends are, really do. You learn who your friends are. And but Indonesia, Turkey, and so many other countries. But the five were great. But your dear friend and my dear friend he was all man. He stood up and he wasn't scared. Maybe he was, I don't know, maybe he was, but he didn't show it. He was great, a great leader. Saudi Arabia can be very proud of because he's got a lot of titles. He's the crown prince. He's the prime minister. He's the future king. He's got about 7 other titles. I said, you have more titles than any human being on earth. He's everything. And he deserves to be because he's a winner. So I just want to thank those people. So the Middle East will be transformed, and the future of that region is never, I don't think it's ever looked brighter. You couldn't have, we did the Abraham Accords. I hope you're going to be getting into the Abraham Accords finally. Yeah, so will you please go back and explain? It's time now. Mohammed said, oh, yes, as soon as we do this, as soon as we do that. I said, Mohammed, we did that. Oh, yes, but we have a couple of other things. It's now time. We've now taken them out, and they are out bigly. We got to get into the Abraham Accords. And we hope all of the countries are going to be in the Abraham Accords. We have some very brave countries that did it, years ago. They went in, and you know who they are, the early four, and they did a great thing in doing it, and it was great for them also economically, but it was a great thing that they did it. But I think all the Middle Eastern countries are going to be joining now. And in some cases, I would say all the Middle Eastern countries and beyond. You have people not in the Middle East that want to be members. You'll be seeing that soon. In the meantime, the conflict in Iran also makes it absolutely vital for the radical left Democrats in Congress to immediately end their dangerous shutdown of our Department of Homeland Security. They want to play games. That's all they are. These people are lunatics. They sort of remind me actually a little bit of Iran. They're deranged. They're deranged Democrats. For 42 days, they've tried to completely eliminate funding for the number one duty of government, which is keeping America safe. And they want no ICE. They want no Border Patrol. They want no protection of any kind to be given, reopening our borders and stopping all immigration enforcement in our country. They want to have our borders be open again. We took in 25 million people. We've gotten a lot of them out. Tremendous numbers of people that should never have been here. Over 4 long years before my election, these same radical, lunatic Democrats let 25 million people pour across our borders like they were nothing, like they were non-existent. These people were totally unvetted, unchecked, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members. vicious criminals, even the criminally insane. In 2024, the American people voted in a landslide to stop the invasion of our country. And I won all 7 swing states by millions and millions of votes. We won the Electoral College by a massive number. We won the popular vote, millions and vote, just millions. This was a big election. I loved every minute of it. And for the first time, no Republicans done anything like this in decades, but for the first time, we won the counties of America. That's a big one. 2,700 to 525. 2,700 to 525. 87% of the vote. We won 87% of the counties. In other words, it was a mandate like our country has not seen in many decades. It was a mandate for an ideology, which is an ideology basically of common sense. We want strong borders. We want a powerful military. We want good education. We want to have homes for people and low interest rates and no inflation. And right now, my polls are better than they've ever been before. You know, I heard the other day, I think that he's losing the MAGA base. I said, really? Because of the war. See, I get into a war. Of course, they call it a war. I call it a military conflict. But there's a legal reason for that. But you get into a war or a military operation or conflict for you, and then they say, my base. I said, no. MAGA's stronger than ever because MAGA's make America great again. But my MAGA people, which is the greatest phrase in the history of politics, it's the most important movement by far, probably in the history of the world. I mean, you know, there's never been anything like this. And in fact, just a few days ago, you have to understand, the fake news right back, oh, that's a lot of fake news. Yeah, so you brought a lot of fake news with you. They must know you're going to make a speech at some point because look at the, but what happened is the fake news was saying, he may, they hope, you know, it's like, oh, we got to get rid of this guy. They say, he may be losing his MAGA base. And that would be maybe the end of him. And then I happened to be watching CNN, which is terrible. They treat me terribly. In fact, just a few days ago, CNN had a poll that had me at 100% of MAGA voters. They said they've never seen anything like that. Can you put that up? I actually said if you could put it up. Do you have the technology to put it up? Go ahead, give it a shot.
You know, sometimes you look at the polling data and there are numbers that just jump off the screen at you, and this is one of those. Because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approve 100%. 100%. If you are a member of MAGA and the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%. He is the 1972 Miami Dolphins.
Good technology, thank you. I figured you'd have good tech. I said, I wonder if they could put that poll up. We just did it 2 minutes ago. No, but I was watching this and I'm hearing them saying, could he be losing the MAGA base? I don't think so. You know why? Because MAGA wants to win, number one. Number two, they want our country protected. They don't want another country out there that's hostile and crazy to have a nuclear weapon. And number three, they like us protecting certain allies, whether it's Israel or Saudi Arabia or Qatar or UAE, any of them. They want that. MAGA wants strength and they want victory. They want success, and that's what we have. And we have been very, very successful. You know, when I went into Venezuela, I said, because I campaigned on the fact peace through strength, you wouldn't have to use. I built this great military. I said, you'll never have to use it, but sometimes you have to use it. And Cuba's next, by the way, but pretend I didn't say that, please. Pretend I didn't say that. Please, 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 media, please disregard that statement. Thank you very much. Cuba's next. So despite the radical left Democrat shutdown, we will continue to defend the sovereign borders of the United States of America, and we'll defend our allies. And your ally, you didn't know they were that tough, did you? You didn't know. They were pretty tough, Iran. Not tough anymore. Now we'll continue to deport dangerous criminal aliens from our country. Just days ago, an 18-year-old girl in Chicago named Sheridan Gorman was gunned down by a savage criminal alien led in by Sleepy Joe Biden, and released in a Democrat sanctuary city. He was an animal. The same month, an 83-year-old veteran, highly regarded person, was shoved onto the subway tracks and murdered by an illegal alien with a long criminal history in New York City. These are vicious criminal thugs, disgusting human beings that Democrats have defunded our airports to protect. They want our airports to be defunded so that these people can come into our country. Not going to happen. We're not going to have it. That's why this week I deployed ICE to our airports to help reduce the delays. People there are doing a great job, but they didn't want to pay them. The Democrats didn't want to pay them. And a short time ago, I also ordered emergency funding to resume paying the TSA agents immediately. They're getting paid. Democrats must stop their dangerous and destructive shutdown and reopen the Department of Homeland Security without delay. And it's time that they start thinking properly. That's why they lost in such a landslide and put America first. It's time that they start thinking about America first. And we're honored to be joined tonight by many distinguished guests from around the world, including FII Institute Chairman Yasser Al-Romayan. Where are you, Yasser? Come here, stand up. Yes, yes, please. What a nice name. What a nice name. And his son, Faisal. And by the way, I've known him really well, but you know, I've never heard his last name. So I'm saying, who the hell is Yasser? I know Yasser. I said, who the hell is that guy? But I know him by Yasser, right? I didn't know if it was your first name or your last name. All I know is he's got a lot of power. All I know is he's got a lot of cash. And he's another great leader, actually, and he's a good friend of mine. So nice to be with you, and nice to be with your son. Son's beautiful. Saudi Minister of Finance, Mohammed Al-Jadaan. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nice to see you again. Good job. I mean, if you want to be a Minister of Finance, Saudi Arabia is a good place to do it, right? You don't have any dearth. There's no dearth of funds. Most places, they say, where are we going to get the money? How about a tax increase? Minister of State, Mohammed Al-Sheikh. Mohammed? Thank you very much. Great honor. Chairman of the Saudi Esports Federation, His Royal Highness Prince Faisal. And of course, please. Thank you. And of course, the kingdom's wonderful ambassador to the United States, Her Royal Highness Princess Rima, who's great. She's great. Also, I want to thank the president of Sierra Leone, Julius Madabio. Madabio, I love that name. Thank you. Great honor to have you. And chairman of the FII Institute Executive Committee, Richard Attias. Thank you, Richard. As well as special envoy, I call him Henry Kissinger, who doesn't leak, because Henry is a big leaker. Richard Nixon would beat him. Henry, somebody's leaking on us. There's somebody leaking. Henry would say, we'll get to the bottom. It was Henry that was leaking. That wasn't good. So we have Henry Kissinger, better than Henry Kissinger, and he doesn't leak. Special envoy Steve Witkoff. Thank you, Steve. Doing a great job. And he and Jared Kushner, they're like a team, and boy, I tell you, they're a good team. High IQ. It's a high IQ team. You want to find your high IQ people. Director of the Office of Science and Technology Policy, Michael Kratsios, a Greek individual. Where's Michael? He was at the Greek event. Hi, Michael. He was at the Greek event yesterday, so I know he's Greek. They asked me, please, sir, would you introduce Michael? CMS administrator, a phenomenal man, a brilliant man. You know, he had a show on television for like 20 years that was so great. I was on his show. He said, would you do me a favor? Would you go on my show? I said, yeah, I'll go on your show. It's a big show. It was very successful. And I went on his show, and he determined that I should lose weight. This is what I went through. He said, I think you should lose weight. I said, I don't need you saying that in front of millions of people. You don't have to tell me that. But he's a great guy, And I don't know how he ever got the job after that, but he's the most powerful man, actually. Medicine, him and Bobby. What a team. Bobby is great. He's great. Dr. Oz, you know that, Mehmet Oz. And they're coming up with things that are amazing, a little out of the box, but the out of the box guys are really finding things that are amazing. Autism, that's so important to us. We want to find out why is it happening in such large numbers all over the world, but why is it happening in our country all over the world? And you're coming up with some pretty impressive studies and answers. A really good friend of mine, the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, and Johnny is great. You know, when I didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, you got to understand, I don't care. Norway has lost so credible. I stopped 8 wars. I even stopped India and Pakistan. And they were going at it for a week. They had 9 planes already shot down. They were in a war. I stopped them. You know how I stopped them? I said, if you keep fighting, I'm going to put a 250% tariff on each one. No, you cannot do that. I said, I'm doing it. All right, we won't fight anymore. That's how I stopped them. I used tariffs to stop. You ever hear of anything like that? It was too much for them to bear. But they were going to be in a war. And the prime minister, actually a great guy, the prime minister of Pakistan said President Trump saved 30 to 50 million people. 2 nuclear countries would have happened. And I figured, if I don't get the Nobel Prize for Peace, nobody will ever get it. I didn't get it. I'm not surprised. I didn't get it. And the person that got it was shocked. She's a wonderful woman, too, by the way. And she said, no, I don't deserve it. President Trump does. Nobody deserves it. Nobody ever does. I stopped 8 wars, Yasser. Do you know what that is? 8 wars. You didn't stop 8 wars. You started 8 wars, Yasser. I stopped 8 wars. But it was a little early because, in all fairness, it was for the year before, right? It was for 24. But still, you thought they would have made an exception. But they didn't do that. You watch what happens. But it was sort of amazing. So she was so nice, and she actually came to the White House, and she presented me with her award. She's a wonderful woman. But stopping wars is, I think, it's the best. I think I do it the best. I stopped wars that nobody thought. President Putin called me. He said, I can't believe you stopped this one and this one, which are impossible. Azerbaijan, it was an impossible war to stop. We stopped it. But we also have a man who's probably good at stopping wars. I know he's good at being a tough guy. He is a tough guy. He's been very tough on crime, and he's done a great job. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez is here someplace. Francis, hi. How are you? And we have our great son. He's got the best genes, I think, of any human being I've ever known. He's my son, Don Trump. Don, he's a great guy. And his fiancée, Bettina. Good, Bettina, good. No, my son's got the greatest genes in history. I'm a big believer in genes, by the way, I will tell you. My daughter, Tiffany, and her husband, Michael. My beautiful daughter, great, and they have a new child, the most beautiful guy we've seen, right? Blows us all away, right? He's great. Thank you for being here. And countless other business leaders. We have so many friends of mine here, so many business leaders, but we can't go on because we have a couple of moments more to discuss the world and the economy. Over the past 14 months, the Trump administration has achieved perhaps the most dramatic one-year turnaround of any nation in all of history. A short time ago, a man that we just discussed, the king, the future king of Saudi Arabia, and I also love the king of Saudi Arabia. What a man he is. When I was there, we bonded. He would grab me to get up. He was a little frail at the time, and this was a long time ago, and he's still doing well. And he'd grab my arm to get up when I was sitting next to him. And they said that's the only time he's ever grabbed anybody. He would grab me all the time. And I said, I think he likes me. And he did like me, and he still likes me, and he's a great man, and say hello to him. He's a great guy with a great son. But a short time ago, we were together, and he looked at me, and he said, you know, it's amazing. 1 year ago, you were a dead country. Now you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. He didn't think this was going to happen. He didn't think he'd be kissing my ass. He really didn't. He thought he'd be just another American president that was a loser, where the country was going downhill. But now he has to be nice to me. You tell him he better be nice to me. He's got to be. But it was really something. No, he said, though, he said, it's amazing, President, because he's a very smart, but a regular kind of a guy. He said, it's amazing, President. A year ago, in that case, it was a year and a half. It was 6 months ago. But a year ago, you were a dead country. Now you're literally the hottest country anywhere in the world. And that was before we beat the hell out of Iran. Now I think he's got to say even better. I think we have to up it. But he's fantastic. And everything we do, we're working to make America the #1 place on earth to do business. We passed the largest tax cuts in American history, including no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. We provided 100% expensing and bonus depreciation so that anyone who wants to build a factory can deduct the entire cost of equipment and the entire factory in the first year. That used to take 38 years to do. You'd take it little drips. Now it's done. And a lot of people remember that my first 4 years was the most successful time we've ever had financially in the history of our country. We had an unbelievable success, but this is much better. And by the way, when this war ends, it's going to be like a rocket ship. I thought we were going to go down more, and I thought oil prices were going to go up higher than they are now. It's not finished yet. I'm not saying it's sort of finished, but it's not finished. It's got to be finished. And I thought that we would see a bigger drop in stock. It hasn't been that bad. It's sort of crazy. I hit 50,000 on the Dow. People said that wouldn't be possible within 4 years. I did it in 1 year. And then we hit 7,000 on the S&P. People said that's even harder than hitting 50,000 on the Dow. And I did that in less than 1 year. Toward the end of the year, both of them, we broke every record, every stock record we broke. And you're big beneficiaries because so many of you invest in the United States, and keep doing it because it's going to be a rocket ship. You watch. But then I said, all right, do I have to do this? We have a country that's sick and demented, and they have a nuclear weapon, or they want to have one. They were very close to getting it. Remember, they were 2 weeks away. They were 2 weeks away. If we didn't hit that, I call it the nuclear dust. I use the term nuclear dust. If we didn't knock the hell out of them, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 to 4 weeks, and they would have used it on you and on Israel and on everyone else. And I said, we really do have to stop and go on a little different journey for a little while and take them out and then go back to life. And that's what we did. And we did it violently. We did it powerfully. We did it with the respect of the world. And we helped a lot of allies. And we learned about other allies. We learned that other allies weren't there. We didn't need them, but they weren't there if we did need them. And that's going to be very costly for them. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election, adding $9 trillion in value to America's savings and retirement accounts and 401ks. Everybody's benefiting by this. And more Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. At any time. To me, that's the #1 stat. More Americans are working today, by far, than at any time in the history of our country. And in 14 months, we've lifted 3.3 million Americans off of food stamps. That's a record. And Biden and his allies wrecked our country. They wreaked havoc on our economy, and they gave us the worst inflation in American history. Under Trump, during the last 3 months of 2025, we got core inflation down to 1.6%. And right now, the average tax refund for filers, because of the great big beautiful bill, has been close to $5,000. It's a lot of money for a family. And this, when I'm talking to Saudi Arabia and I'm talking about $5,000, they look at me, 5,000? That's like a penny, right, David? That's like a penny. Saudi Arabia is not into $5,000, but it's Saudi Arabia. I just want to ask, are the Saudis impressed by the fact that a family has saved $5,000. I know they're looking like, what the hell is 5,000? Their shoes cost them more than 5,000. But that's the way it goes. We're talking about, remember, we're talking about the real world. In his entire term, Joe Biden, I have two terms for him, Crooked Joe and Sleepy Joe. It's always been pretty, I do sometimes a poll, which is a more accurate term, sleepy or crooked, pretty much even. I like sleepy. In his entire term, Sleepy Joe Biden got less than $1 trillion of new investment in the United States, a lot less. And in our first 11 months, 12th month is coming, it's going to be big, we did $18 trillion. Think of it, less than $1 trillion for 4 years. In 11 months, we did $18 trillion. And we have factories being built all over the country at a level that's never been seen before. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I allow these plants and everything to build their own electricity. Well, we need big electricity. They're all building their own electricity. But a lot of it has to do with the tax bill, a lot of them, because it's really the biggest tax reduction bill in history, the great big beautiful bill. And a lot of it has to do with the one-year deductibility where you build a plant and you take the whole thing as a deduction. I did that in my first term also, but I had it for 1 year. Now I have it for 10 years. So it's pretty amazing, and it's pretty amazing what we're seeing. But it all started with our historic visit to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. My first visit was to the future king. And on that first foreign trip of my presidency last May, the Crown Prince announced that Saudi Arabia would be investing an incredible almost $1 trillion in the United States, which he later increased. As just a few examples of these new partnerships, Oracle will be building a $14 billion worth of cloud computing and AI infrastructure in the kingdom. I didn't know that, David. We have to talk to your father about that. Why isn't he doing it here, David? I'm very upset with you. And by the way, David has done a very good job. David Ellis said he just had a very big win. And your father's very proud of you because your father said, that's a tough one. And you got it done. It's going to be a great success. You're going to be a great success. You're going to blow away your father. And he'll be very happy about that because he loves you. But it's a great family, great family. Say hello to him, okay? You're going to have a big, big success with the deal he made. Boeing is selling dozens of 737 airplanes in a deal valued at $4.8 billion and supporting approximately 20,000 U.S. jobs. And during our trip, the United States and Saudi Arabia, and I must say also Qatar, we visited, they were fantastic. And UAE, we visited, they were fantastic, all three of them. We took in a total of almost $3 trillion from just those three countries. But Saudi Arabia signed the largest defense sales agreement in American history, nearly $142 billion of the finest military equipment anywhere in the world. We make the best military equipment in the world by far. Nobody's ever figured out the Patriot. I mean, when you can shoot down 101 out of 101, that's good stuff, right? And those suckers are traveling at 2,000, Mr. Minister, 2,500 miles an hour. You better hope you don't have chokers sitting behind that desk. Because if they're about 1 second late, that's the end of it. You say, well, we missed them. They're coming. When I hosted the Crown Prince at the White House last fall, we officially designated the kingdom as a major non-NATO ally, first time. And for the very first time, we agreed to sell Saudi Arabia perhaps the most capable fighter jet ever built, the F-35. The F-35 is amazing. And we sell them very sparingly. We don't want other people to have them. I'm confident that this partnership and so many others around the world will continue to grow and thrive because under President Trump, America once again fights and competes for one thing. We fight to win. We fight for justice and we fight to win. We don't fight to be politically correct like we did under other presidents where we fought to just keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And, when I took out ISIS, I was told by generals it would take 4 to 5 years. And I met General Raisin Kane, who's our top person, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I said, if I ever do this thing again, if I ever get in, I'm putting that guy as the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I went to see him in Iraq, and I said, why is it taking so long to destroy ISIS? We have the best weapons in the world. And I understood why, but I had generals, I call them the television generals. They weren't any good. Mattis, Milley, they weren't any good. They were lousy. But they said, sir, it will take about 4 years. When I went over and I met General Kane, I said, how long will it take? 4 weeks, sir, you'll have a lot of time left over. I said, wait a minute, did you say 4 weeks? 4 weeks, sir. It'll take 4 weeks. You'll have a lot of time left over. That's our new head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And he said, how do you do that? Well, sir, we were only able to fight from this one very far away location because nobody wanted to use all of our portable runways that we have all over the Middle East. We have portable runways, can you believe it? We have everything. But nobody wanted to use them because they didn't want to insult the country where the runway was located. I said, they wouldn't even know. Do you think some country's going to know when we have jets taking off? They don't know. He said, well, I agree with you, sir, but whether they know or not, who cares? He said, so we have about 17 locations that we could take off. From this one, it took 8 hours to get to the destination. By the time we got there, we had to refuel all the time, and we had to come back. He said, but we have 17 different locations, sir. And, sir, we're going to hit them from the left. We're going to hit them from the right. We're going to hit them from the east and the west. And we're going to hit them from above. And you could see he was getting crazy. And I said, what's your first name? He said, Raisin, sir. What do you mean, Raisin? My name is Raisin. I said, you mean your name is Raisin Kane? And he said, yes, sir. You're the guy I'm looking for. I've been looking for you for 4 frickin' years. I found Raisin Kane. His first name is Dan, but his nickname is Raisin. And I love that. I loved Raisin Kane. And I said, if I ever get in, this was before I decided to even run, I said, if I ever run and if I win, that guy's going to be the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That's exactly what happened. And he was all for me, and I'm all for him, but he's a great general. He's like one of these football coaches that's great. You know, there's some great ones, Johnny, right? And all they do is they sit, their wives are complaining, everyone's complaining. They never go, they don't see anybody. They just go into the room and they study film and tape it. Then they go out and win, and everyone says, how come? And other guys are out there playing golf. They're not winning. And he's been great, and Pete Hegseth has been amazing. He's been amazing. Pete has done a great job. He was born for it. I really believe he was born for it. We have a lot of great people. We have a lot. We had a great first 4 years, but the people we have now, you know, look, when I won, I'd never done it before. I ran. Everyone thought I was doing it for fun. Even Steve Witkoff, he said, you're doing it for fun, right? No, I guess. I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing it for. Maybe. But they all said, no, he's going to run. And in September, he's going to have a lot of fun. He'll drop out. And then the debates came, and I did good in the debates. And we're knocking people off, all senators, governors, mostly senators and governors, all professional politicians, smart guys. You can't be stupid and be a senator or a governor. It doesn't work that way. Other than Biden, he got lucky. He was in a room. They locked him in a room, and he never got to talk. So, but that's the whole other story. But I ran, and then all of a sudden, there were 18 people, including me. Then there were 15. Then there were 12. Then there were 9. Then there were 6, 5. It's like a rocket ship. 4. And then all of a sudden, I won. But I never did it before. I went to Washington. I said, I've only been here 17 times, and I've never slept over. I didn't know anybody. So I had to take recommendations from rhinos and some good people. I mean, there were recommendations, and some were really good. I mean, I had some great people. Look, I rebuilt our entire military in the first term. We got the largest tax cuts in history, the largest regulation cuts in history in the first time. We did good, but I didn't have the same people generally. But I went home and I watched this thing closely. And by that time, I knew the good, the bad, and the ugly. I knew the good ones. I knew the bad ones. And when I came back, I picked great people. We have an unbelievable, we're talking military now, but we have an unbelievable group because I got to know it. I was never in Washington. You know, it's hard. I never ran for class president. All of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, your next president of the United States is Donald Trump. I said, really? I never did this before. Johnny, I said, how the hell did this happen, right? But it did happen, and we had a great first term. But the second term is blowing it away, to be honest with you. It's really blowing it away. And when we decide to leave, regime change, I guess we change the regime. The regime gets blown up every 2 days. No, everybody's afraid to announce who's the head. We don't even know who the hell the leader is. So I think we have regime change already. But we're going to be, at some point, we'll be leaving. And I think you're going to see a rocket ship, because we won't have that dark cloud hanging over our heads, Steve, right, that we did before, which was a nuclear-armed, sick country of Iran, because it might have affected your country, Saudi Arabia, and the others, and it certainly affected Israel more than anybody, the hatred they have for Israel, but it also affected us, because with modern-day equipment, they can fly. And how about the fact that they flew a missile 2,700 miles the other day? They didn't say they had that. Nobody knew they had that. Went 2,700 miles. So we learned a lot, but we're determined to have the best technology, the brightest minds, the greatest businesses, and the strongest economic and security partnerships of any nation, anywhere in the world. And for this reason, we're also committed to ensuring the United States remains #1 in artificial intelligence. We're doing great. We're leading China by a lot, and I'll not allow radical left maniacs to sacrifice American AI leadership to red tape or political correctness. It's going good. We're doing really well. We're building factories all over America, the biggest in the world. And in America, we don't fear the future, we invent the future. We're really inventing the future. We have the most brilliant minds. And we invite all nations to join us in building the most powerful AI ecosystem on the planet. We're building more automobile plants than any time in the last 50 years. For a lot of reasons. I think #1, maybe the election, but #2, and a close #2, is tariffs. The tariffs are driving people in from Canada, Mexico, Germany, Japan, South Korea. They're coming in. We're building auto plants all over the United States, tens of billions. I met Mr. Toyota in Japan. I said, what's your name? He's about 92 years old. Sharp as a tack. What's your name? Toyota. I said, you're rich. I said, do you have anything to do with automobiles? Yes. What do you have to do with Toyota? I own it. And I said, well, do you want to make an investment? Yes, we're going to spend $10 billion, spending $10 billion right now on building 5 plants. Everybody is. They're all coming into America. We're going to be hotter than we were 70 years ago when we dominated the automobile. We made all of the cars. My administration has also worked tirelessly to ensure that America remains at the bleeding edge of crypto revolution. We're really doing great. And if we're not going to do it, then China is going to take it over. They want to do it. We're going to be the undisputed crypto capital and Bitcoin superpower of the world. Bitcoin's very powerful. It's all becoming powerful. So many people now, they want to pay you in crypto. They want to pay you in Bitcoin. And we have to be at the top of it in all of these, call it an industry. Last year, I signed the landmark Genius Act into law, creating a clear and simple framework for dollar-backed stablecoins. And this was a historic achievement, and I'll not allow Democrats and their big bank donors, although they've had a lot of support for crypto. They will say that. The Democrats have been very strong on crypto. They want to see it too, which is shocking if you want to know the truth. But we don't want any pointless regulations or needless restrictions. We want to have free enterprise, open. America became the world financial capital because we were the strongest and the freest nation on earth, and the Trump administration's going to keep it that way. We're very open. And I tell people, if you have problems, call me. And some of them are amazed. I actually take their call and get their problem solved. For 4 long years, our country was pushed to the brink of destruction by radicals and thugs and stupid people who punished success, pillaged our economy, dismantled our borders, and surrendered our strength. But today, all of that is behind us. Our country is prospering again, I think, like never before. I would say, it's amazing. I thought I knew I'd do it. I didn't know I was going to do it. I knew I had no idea it was going to be this fast. But you never know. I had no idea I'd be going into Iran. I didn't think we'd have to do that. But it turned out we did because they became more and more radicalized and more threatening. Our economy is booming again, and America is respected again all over the world, perhaps like never before. With the help of business leaders, innovators, allies, and partners like those in this room, incredible people in this room, incredible success stories, the most successful people in the world. We'll seize every opportunity, overcome every challenge, defeat every threat, and America and our allies will thrive and prosper and win like no nations have ever won before. You're going to win like you've never had before. So I want to just thank everybody very much, and I'm asked to take a few questions. And unlike other politicians, they would like the questions screened. I don't ask for screening of the questions. You can ask me anything you want. You can talk sex. You can do whatever the hell you want. I'm here for you. Whatever question you want, you can ask. So do you want to do that? Do we have some people handling this? Here he comes. Look at this man. Very powerful man coming up, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take some questions. Good.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you so much. And thank you for accepting to take 5 questions. We don't want to take too much of your time. So let's talk about business. In one sentence, where should the world invest in America right now?
Say it, what?
Where should the world invest in America right now?
Well, look, the one that they're going crazy about is AI. Now, sometimes you'll say, let's go the opposite, because I've seen it. You know, everyone goes, but AI is going crazy. AI, so my family, we made Don, the whole family. Erica's doing a good job. All of us, Ivanka, we liked real estate. When you can make money in real estate, it's a great business. But I see some of these guys come into my office, they're wearing a T-shirt and they're 24 years old. Dad, he's got a net worth of $24 billion. I said, you gotta be kidding. Off a little contraption. So, but the money seems to be, right now, AI. And also, if you're in school, like you're going to the Wharton School or the Stern School or any of these great schools, I mean, the numbers that they're paying to go into that business is incredible, where you see people getting a $10 million bonus to sign, like baseball players or football players. We're giving you a $10 million. I mean, I hate to say because it sounds ridiculous, but there have been some $100 million bonuses paid to sign. So I think probably if you're going to say one thing, AI, and just hope that it works, right? You better hope.
So, Mr. President, what is the one leadership trait the world is missing right now? What is missing in leadership?
Well, it's winning. You got to win. You know, I've watched a lot of people, leaders, great leaders. And, you know, the one thing about sports is you break it down into, you know, a 2-hour period, something nice. You don't have to wait a lifetime to find out is somebody a winner or a loser. You got a lot of losers, mostly losers, fortunately. It's a good thing to have a lot of losers. I always like to hang around with losers, actually, because it makes me feel better. I hate guys that are very, very successful, and you have to listen to their success stories. I like people that like to listen to my success. But I find, and I found this, and I'm only kidding, I want to say that, sort of. But I find that people that win, it's much easier to lead when you're successful and you win. You know, Vince Lombardi was a very tough person, a very tough football coach. He was sort of a violent guy, actually. I knew him. But he won, and he got away with things because he won. You know, I used to say, if you win, winning helps you to become a better leader. People follow you if you win. And not everybody can win. Some people win, and some people don't win. But when you win, it's a lot easier to lead.
Talking about winning, Mr. President, the world is entering in a new economic era. Who do you think are the winners and who do you think will be the losers?
Are you talking about as nations?
Yes?
Well,
or sectors?
The United States right now is the hottest country anywhere in the world, by far. And we've done it very quickly because we have a good system. Now, it's somewhat radicalized because the Democrats are really holding us back, and you better hope they don't get in because they'll destroy a lot of what we've built. But right now, the United States, as the king, future king of Saudi Arabia said, we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. I must say, I respect China greatly because it's amazing that with a system that in theory shouldn't work, we go to school and we go to the best business schools and we do well in those schools. And we read about free entrepreneurship and we read about all of these different things. But you look at China, how well they do, how well they manufacture. I mean, they manufacture cars so many that they actually have a contest for who can manufacture the least cars because they have so many cars. You have to have great respect for China for the job they do. Like them or not like them, you have to respect them.
So precisely, you will be going to China in May.
Yes, I'll be going. We had a meeting, and I called up President Xi. I get along really well with him. He even approved the TikTok deal. He said, I will not approve that deal to other people, not to me. And I thought it was good if we could keep it going. I like it because I'm the #1 person on TikTok. Can you believe it? I put a chart up there, another chart. You want to put another chart up? Like we did with fake news CNN. I said, let's see what happens. So we got a group of very big investors, the biggest investors, and they really wanted to buy TikTok. And I did very well on TikTok in the election. I won the youth. I did tremendously well with youth because of TikTok and other things, certain interviews, et cetera. But I did very well. And I sort of developed a liking for it. And I was told that it will never be approved by China. You had to get approval. And I didn't really care. And then it got to a point where all of these very successful people were willing to pay a lot of money for TikTok. And I called up President Xi. I said, do me a favor. Will you approve it, please? It's good. It's good for China, good for us, good for everybody. Would you do me a favor? I know you said it was a hard no. And I said, I know you said no to everybody, but you haven't said no to me. Would you do me a favor? Would you approve it? It's good for China. It's good for us. You have a lot of big investors. They're investing in China also. They have a lot of money in China. I would appreciate it. He said, okay, I'll do it. Nice. It was very nice. And they bought TikTok, and it's going to do good. And it was done with the consent of China. We get along well with China. China used to take big advantage of us, but they don't take advantage of us anymore. Now we compete very nicely with China. We put tariffs on China. The tariffs got too high. At one point, they were up to 145%. I was saying, nope, put tariffs on that, put tariffs on for fentanyl, add 20%. And then one day I said, what's China paying now? Sir, they're paying 145%. I said, 145? That's crazy. I got a little carried away. So I got them down to 100. Then I took them down a little more. And I'll never forget, I took them down a little bit from 145 to 100. And the fake news said, Donald Trump collapses in China. They're paying 100%. Nobody pays 100. So anyway, we got it down. And now we have a great business relationship with China. I've always had a good relationship with President Xi, except for the COVID situation, because I wasn't thrilled about that. He wasn't thrilled either, by the way, but I wasn't thrilled. But I have great respect for him as a leader. And we had a deal. I was going there, and I didn't want to go during the war. I said, look, we have a thing called a war, or as they would rather say, a military operation. This is for legal reasons. I say military, because as a military operation, I don't need any approvals. As a war, you're supposed to get approval from Congress, something like that. So I call it a military operation, but we have that going along, and I'd like to delay it. So we delayed it a few weeks, so I'll be going very shortly.
Mr. President, we have few leaders here, business leaders from Africa. And of course, we have His Excellency, the President of Sierra Leone. What is your vision about Africa today?
Well, I tell you, it's got tremendous potential. Now, I've been hearing about this for a very long time, and I have a lot of friends that have bet the ranch on.
Gentlemen, it's my great honor, on behalf of the FIA Institute, to welcome back a leader who continues to shape the global economic and political landscape. For the
Don't worry, I won't punish you watching it all over again. Oh, man. I knew that was going to be torture for a lot of people. But hey, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for the likes. Now I'm going to go ahead and I want to see if you guys have any questions. Now, there's a lot of controversials, and a lot of people on the left want to blame Trump. Some rhinos want to blame Trump. I get it. There is some, your complaints are legit. Your skepticism is legit. I agree. It's okay to question. What is not okay, it's to hate somebody to the point where you can't have dialogue, that you can't have any sort of alternatives, maybe some hope given to those who don't believe. We're being attacked from all fronts. We're being attacked on a religious level. We're being attacked. And remember, the Islam is a political, okay? Not just a religious, but political attack on the United States of America. Let's remember, it's not to be hateful against Muslims, but those Muslims who believe that Sharia law is above the law of the United States of America should not be in this country. I'm not saying don't believe that. Just go to your country. This is not your country where you're going to put Sharia law on American citizens. See, the difference is that you guys can hate and dislike Christianity. You can do that. Nobody's trying to kill you. But when you do that with Islam, tell me, Muhammad, Allahu Akbar, whatever your name is, what is the punishment to blaspheme against the great Muhammad, the pedophile prophet? What is the punishment? What is the marriage? What is the marrying age of a little girl to Muslims? Explain that to me. And for any libtard that believes in your fake religion and your fake God, explain that to me. Why do you worship a pedophile? I believe that a lot of people, they follow religion because they want to believe in something. They want to practice prayer. See, prayer is a noble cause. People, when they see somebody praying, they think this person is trying to be righteous, is trying to be peaceful. This is something that they stole from Christianity. And so you have to understand, it's not about I hate religion. No. We have a freedom of religion, and I can be a Christian. You can be whatever you want. And all I'm asking is stop using a fake religion to try to destroy our beautiful country. Very simple. Let's see. Sharia law is not the land. What? It's not the land of jungle. What does that mean? You follow the law of the jungle. No, I follow the law of the land. I base my moral compass on the Bible, on Christianity, on the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not murder, and yet we can still go to war against those who war against us. You should not lie. You should not worship false idols. Think about it. I know. They are sons. The problem is this. They are sons of Ishmael. I get it. But the Islam itself, the submission, that's what Islam means. Submission is not to God. Submission, Islam, is a political movement that was created to oppress the people. Even today. No, Islam is not 600 years old. Islam was created 600 years after Jesus Christ, after the Bible was written. That's the difference. And the problem is that they want to make it look like they're this peaceful religion, but yet, what is the main reaction that they show us when we say something against Muhammad? They get pissed. So tell me, Allahu Akbar, what is the punishment for blaspheming against the whole high and mighty Prophet Muhammad, the pedophile? What is the punishment? What does the Quran say about the punishment? And then also tell me, what is the punishment for declaring that Sharia law is not the law of the United States of America? Easy two questions. If you want to continue to use a religion, if you believe that Allah is God, continue that. That's fine. But unfortunately, you will have to deny pedophiles. You will have to deny Sharia law. And the moment that you do that, you become an infidel Muslim. And you become just as hated as Christians and Jews. This is in the Quran. Is it not? So, if we have freedom of religion, why do you care that President Trump kissed the wall? What do you care if he goes over there and pays respect to a Buddhist temple? What do you care? It's a freedom of religion. Worry about the salvation of your soul. If you don't know what a soul is, it's your mind, your brain. That is your soul. If you didn't know, well, now you know. You have a soul, you have a spirit, and you have a body. Mind, spirit, and flesh. Same translation. Your mind, it's your soul. Now, the Jews believe that there is an age that a girl can become a woman by marriage of age. Now, it doesn't specify the age, but it says that it's in the mid-teen years, meaning anywhere between 15 and up for a female to get married. And the male has to be between 18 to 22, 23 years old. Those are the rules, supposedly, for the Jews. But the Muslims, they believe marrying age is prepubescence, means before puberty, before a female actually gets a period. That's why Aisha, which the Prophet Muhammad married, was 6 years old. He consummated that marriage by the time that she was 9. So think about that. You have a picture of a terrorist on your profile, and think about it. Tell me if I just lied. You say it is blasphemy. See, the political movement of Islam prohibits you to question the Quran. It prohibits you to question the legitimacy of the prophets. It is prohibited to you. It's in your Quran, my friend. Let's take a look at Exodus 20, 21 to 26. And now let me make it very clear. Let me make it very clear to you. When the law was written, and let's start from Adam and Eve. Since the beginning of the sins of the sons of God. These are the descendants of the Jews and the Arabs. They all come from Adam and Eve. You have to understand. No, that's when he consummate. That's how he consummated his marriage, 9 years old. But she was like 6 years old, I believe is what she says. And it's in the Quran. But you have to understand something. Everything that is in the Old Testament, it is the punishment of the human life, battles, wars. All of those things are in the Old Testament. Slavery, etc. By the time the New Testament was written, Jesus Christ has already been dead and rose from the dead on the third day. He was crucified. He died for our sins. So everything you have in the Old Testament is more of a history book. But from the time that Jesus Christ came to this earth, he came to fulfill the law, meaning that those who are going straight to hell, you and I, now we can say, Jesus Christ, come into my life, be my Savior. Forgive me of my sins. I repent. I believe that you're the Son of God. And there's your grace and hope. Brian, have a good night, brother. Yeah, I know it's very late for you. Thank you so much for being with me so long. I appreciate it. So you see how that works? And I don't pretend to be the scholar, theologian, and all this other stuff. But the way that religion is made for Christians, Jesus Christ said to go preach the good news. Jesus Christ didn't say, go kill people that don't believe in Christ or God. Jesus Christ even said that you can blaspheme against him. You can blaspheme against the Father, but do not blaspheme against the Spirit, for it is even more holier. Isn't that amazing? You notice how Jesus Christ didn't even give himself, because he became flesh. He didn't give himself credit. He says you can blaspheme. Oh, man is out. Okay, Mike, have a good night, brother. And that's the difference. You see the difference between the Christianity. Now, the Muslims created Islam as a political movement. Yes. Because there is so much proof of Jesus Christ, they have to mention him. But unfortunately, when you follow a lie, you will eventually contradict yourself. It's very simple, isn't it? But anyways, I think religion is very interesting, right? I worry about my salvation. I can go and preach the good news. I'm not there to tell you how to live, but read the New Testament so that you can hear and try to learn how we're supposed to live our life. Now, don't forget about the 10 Commandments. As a matter of fact, I want to tell you this. Jesus said that the 10 Commandments are the laws that was given to Moses. But here's what he gives us. And those 10 Commandments were reduced to 2 commandments. One, very simple, and the most important, to love God with all of your mind, parenthesis, with all of your soul, with all of your heart, and all of your might. Number 2, just as great, love thy neighbor, the person next to you. Love thy brother, the person next to you. What does that mean? If the apostle says that love is kind, and love is patient, and love is true, everything, if you love your neighbor, you're not going to tell them that it's okay to be a criminal. You got to tell them the truth, even if it hurts. That's love. You got to be honest. Honest with yourself so that you can be honest with others. And you have to remember that God is always watching. See, these teachings don't go with Islam, because Islam is more of a government political movement. Again, all of those Muslims that are nice, that really want to be spiritual, and they love Christians, and they love Jews, and they love everybody else who wants to live in peace, those are considered infidels. It's also in the Quran. If you're really Muslim, you will know this, right? I'm not here to teach you the Quran, but I know it's in there. So go find out. Go read it for yourself. And hopefully you actually change and give your life to Christ. For he is the only truth, the only way, and the only life that you will ever need, ever. Islam believes that heaven is a brothel. Imagine the dirtiest sexual perversion that is hidden in Islam. It says that when you die, you go to heaven and you have 10 virgins. Is that right? Very interesting. Because the Bible says that nobody in heaven is having sex. For there will be no male or female. There will be no pain, no suffering. Nobody is reproducing in heaven. The only reason we have pleasure is to reproduce on this earth. That's it. Oh, man, I love it. I love it, right? So, I mean, if you want me to preach and grab the Bible, we can. You take it out of context. Okay, here, answer me this. Why do you make women cover their face? Why do women have to cover their bodies, their whole body, their face, and 72 virgins? Good Lord. That sounds like a brothel to me. But anyways, go ahead, Abdullah. Answer to me. Why do women have to cover themselves? ¿Qué pasa, güey? What's going on, Adam? Late nighter, huh? Late nighter. They don't trust themselves. Allahu Akbar. Tell me, what is it? You're talking about the hadith. Yes. Why do Muslims believe that women should cover themselves? Yes, Micho, you're right. It's wrong, and we condemn it. And they should be in jail if not put to death. But that's for the courts to decide. See, that's not the law of the Bible. That is the law of the land. And we have to separate church from government. That doesn't mean that we have to change our religion belief or spiritual belief. So go ahead, Allahu Akbar. Go ahead and tell me, why do women have to cover themselves? Oh, no. Manuel is a very, very important question. Because when a man dies serving the will of Allah, he gets 10 to 72 virgins, apparently. I thought it was just 10 virgins, but let's go with Cutting Edge says 72, I think. So here's the question. Hold on, Mitchell, hold on. Let him answer, because I want an answer. I really want an answer from him, okay? Yeah, the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah, God dang. They all have a similarity, but I want you to answer me. Honestly, you can look it up, Google it in the Quran, whatever you want, but answer the question. Why do women have to cover their face and their body? For some, the whole body, even the eyes. Yeah, I'm waiting. If anybody else knows, you can also answer, okay? Yeah, we must deny ourselves and pick up our cross. That means that we have to fight temptation. We have to fight against sin. We have to fight against sexual perversion. Those are the things that the body is weak and will always adhere to unless we continue to pray and we continue to allow God and Jesus to be in our heart and fight with us. For us. Fight for us. So go ahead. Anybody tell me on the chat. Anybody. I think Omar, you used to be a Muslim. Tell me, why do they have to cover their face? There we go. Don't answer a question with a question. Yeah. Why do Catholic nuns wear head coverings? Well, that is their tradition. And they're supposed to cover their hair to avoid temptation. Oh, Soko, that's right. Good job, buddy. So why do Muslims make their women's okay? It is commanded for them to cover their hair, just as nuns do. But why? Now we don't believe in that. That's just Catholics. We don't believe in that. We do believe that there is a culture that is a Judaism culture where it tells women to cover their heads. That's okay, and that's fine. But it is Sharia. So again, why do they cover themselves? I want you to know. So men don't look, right? That is one way. That's the best way to put it, right? But why do they cover it so that men don't look at them? Why can't men look at those women? See, that's the biggest question. They cover to be less attractive. Fantastic. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. So they cover themselves so that they're less attractive. Gotcha. They cover their flesh so that they are not temptation, right, to men, correct? Now tell me, why is it that only women have to adhere to such commandment? Why do the men get to walk around showing themselves to everybody? Don't you attract women and therefore become a temptation to others? Don't we have gay people that can look at men and find you attractive because you're not covering your face? Tell me, if a man gets 10 virgins up in heaven, how many men does a woman get? Oh, man, the Quran contradicts itself too much. Too many inconsistencies. Too many contradictions. Do you know why Satan is making humans mutilate their children? You know why they want to be transgender? Because demons, fallen angels, spirits, they're not male or female. They don't have genders. And that's, my friend, one of the reasons why all these LGBTQ people are so wrong in many levels. On many levels. Transgender fluid, whatever the hell that is. I go by they, them. You know what that sounds like? Possession. I'm not a liar. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. How many men do women get when they die? And how many women do men get when they die? Answer me that simple question. But you see how that doesn't make sense? We believe that women are just as equal as we are to them. But that doesn't mean that I have to be a woman. I am a male, made to be stronger than a woman. Doesn't make me better than her. Some women are better at containing the pain than men are. Some men are they're tougher than women in some levels, and some women are tougher than some men in other levels. We what's the word? It's not we decorate each other. We complement. We complement each other. Opposites attract. That is the rule of nature. Right? 0 in heaven, 0 in hell. Blessed are the poor in spirits. Why? Why is it blessed the poor in spirit? I know it's tricky. Yeah, I love Brian. Just answer the questions. No need to insult. I'm not insulting you right now. I'm not insulting anybody. It's Friday night, guys. Come on, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun. Ah, man, I'll tell you, man, I have my weaknesses. Money and greed is not one of them for sure. Coffee Junk, just because I like that name, I'll let you stay. Diamond, if it's nature. Yeah. I don't think I'm smart. I think I'm more on the wise side than smart. Yeah, Paula Abdul. You need to educate yourself in Islam. Sure, educate me right now. Tell me, how old was Aisha when the old man Muhammad married her? Answer the question. How many women, how many virgins does men get when they die? And how many men women get when they die? Just that's it. Just those three little questions. You pay Jazia, some other makeup name. That doesn't make any sense to anything. Just answer the question directly and stop going around the bush. Bring all of, bro, I'm not even a theologian on anything, but you can bring all your Islamic friends in here, and all they got to do is just answer those three questions. Very simple. Okay, Fondo still believes it's 72 virgins. Oh man, here let's take a look. Let me go ahead. Let's ask Google. Google has some info, man. Let me see. How many virgins are Muslims promised? Ow. Huh. The specific promise of 72 virgins, huris, for martyrs is not found in the Quran, but rather in certain hadith. Are they Muslims? Yeah, I think so. Sayings attributed to the Prophet Muhammad. Oh, wait a minute. What is that? That don't make sense. Hold on. 72 virgins, Horus, for martyrs is not found in the Quran, but rather in certain hadith sayings attributed to the Prophet Muhammad. Huh. Specifically Sunan, Ibn Majah, and Sunan al-Tirmidhi. I don't know if I'm saying that right. These traditions describe martyrs being married to 72 women, often noted as a reward. So, since you don't know how to answer the question, no, that's not the words of Allah. It says that is the words of Muhammad. So Muhammad contradicts Allah? I don't think that works. That is, jizya is a tax force into us if you're a slave to them. Right. Let me see. How many... Let's see. Hold on. Let me change this question. What is the promise for Muslim women? Let's see, in heaven. There's got to be something good in here. And you're going to make me learn. You're going to make me learn. All right, here we go. In the Islamic tradition, Muslim women are promised the same ultimate reward as men. So they also get 10 virgins, 10 virgin women. But it's talking about the entry into the paradise based on their faith and righteous deeds. The Quran and the Hadith describe heaven as a place of eternal bliss. Ignorance is bliss. Comfort and fulfillment, where believers will have whatever their hearts desire. You know who said that before? Guess. Guess who said that before? And by the way, Jesus had to correct him. Who said that? Anybody. Anybody. Tell me, who said that before? What is the one entity that can tempt you with these sayings? I'm not saying it. I'm reading it. I'm just reading it. Satan promises that. But what did Jesus Christ say? Jesus Christ says, what? There is no eternal bliss. You will have eternal life in love. There will be no sorrow, no pain. There is no 72 what? Virgins? Probably not. But that's what they promised the martyrs. Yeah, but I don't believe on ignorance is bliss. I think to be ignorant by choice is stupidity. Eternal perfection, women will be restored to a state of perpetual youth and beauty, free from age, illness, or fatigue, with some traditions stating that they will be more beautiful than the Hur al-Ain. Isn't that wonderful? And then companionship. Yeah, I'm interested on this. Women will be reunited with their earthly husbands. Imagine that. Or if unmarried, will be paired with a spouse who brings them joy. So tell me, and I'll ask you the question that the Pharisees, the writers were asking Jesus Christ while he was on this earth. Jesus, tell us, if a man marries a woman and that man dies, it is said that the brother should marry her. If that brother dies, that the other brother, if there's any, should marry her as well. If there is no other brothers, then she remains widow. So when we go to heaven, whose wife is she going to be? The Quran contradicts itself over and over and over. As I said, in heaven, there is no sex. And there is no sex in heaven, my friend. We will all, 2 Thessalonians, Apostle Paul describes the second coming of Jesus Christ. It says that those who have died believing in the Son of Man, the Son of God, Jesus Christ, they will be restored, resurrected, and their spirits will come from the ground. And those who are still alive, who are not sleeping, will also be transformed into spirits with them, and together we will welcome or receive Jesus Christ and his mighty angels. And we will be with him as angels. No contradiction. There's no virgins. There's no flesh. The flesh belongs to the earth. It belongs to the ground, but the spirit of life belongs to God, for that is his creation. If you don't believe in the Bible, I got you, bro. You don't have to. Yeah, it's okay. It can be fictional to you. That's fine. But we're comparing Islam versus Christianity. If you like to debate, right, religion, I recommend that you go to God's Logic. The guy is a master at debating Islam. I don't care about that because I only care about few facts. And that's all I need to prove that Islam is fake. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. No, it exists. But it's fake in a sense that it's not a connection to a Father God. It is a political movement. As simple as that. Very simple. So if you meet a Muslim and they want to practice Islam, hopefully they're just practicing the religious part of it, the praying, the fasting, and hopefully they do keep the good part of what the Arabs are, which is very hospitable. Arabs believe that they're supposed to help those in need as well. So they can still practice that, but that doesn't make their religion a religion for God, the Almighty. There's only one God that is real, and that is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yahweh, Jehovah. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. The Bible was not written by the prophets. It was rewrote and changed. The Bible has never changed, my friend. I have read many, many translations of the Bible, and not one of them contradicts itself. Not one. And yet, the 4 translations of the Quran, they all contradict each other. But anyway, hey, listen. I'm not going to sit here and try to, make you feel bad. It's just, I wanted to make sure that you understand that when somebody comes into my channel and starts saying this Allahu Akbar, you have to understand, I don't care about your religion. I don't care if you want to be Christian. I don't care if you're atheist. What I care about is that we come together in the United States of America and fight for its freedom, fight for the American first, fight for the people. If you don't respect Western civilization, stay in your lane. Stay back in your country and let us deal with the non-believers here, because we're not going to kill them like Islam says to do. We're still going to love them, and if they accept Jesus Christ, only they are responsible for their souls. As Christians, we love everybody, but we're not going to convince people to become Christians. That is a choice. If God wanted us to do that, he doesn't need us to do it for him. He will do it himself. But that's what's awesome about being Christians. We believe in God. And those things that we don't understand, we ask the Holy Spirit in the name of Jesus Christ. Father, I thank you for tonight. I pray for those who have not received you, who do not know you, that they may see the life. In the name of Jesus. Amen. Let's go. I had to go pick up my wife. Thank you so much for being here with me. I love you guys. I really do. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for being civil with the comments. I appreciate it. There was no need to put people in the corner for too long. God bless you, man. God bless your families. God bless the USA. And I'll see you in the next one.